Hi, I'm Rinde from AskRinde. You may have lost your job and currently going through a setback, meaning that you're currently unemployed, looking for work, and not sure what the future holds. This can be both a frustrating and very scary experience. And one thing is for sure, we all need money. We all need finances to be able to face what we have coming up in the future. What we do know is that with working out creditors and negotiating with them to offset and defer our mortgage payments, to offset and defer our obligations, our credit obligations, we're seeing that the language that we're receiving from a lot of these creditors is that they will maybe cooperate temporarily, but what they want is they want those payments 3 months from now, 4 months from now. So which means that we're all going to need money. If you rent or you pay a mortgage, the fact is that a mortgage needs to be paid. So whether it's now or in July, that mortgage needs to be paid. And that's the thing that I think is going to be very tricky, where we have to continue to push the ball forward in dealing with getting our income in, because what will happen is that most of these creditors that are playing ball now and saying that they will go ahead and defer temporarily payments, they want those payments a few months from now. So what happens when those few months come up and you're now expected to pay a lump sum of money, 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months worth of mortgage payments all at one shot? It's going to be a big problem. So I wanted to do this video to be able to help how to get jobs fast and now. These include my top 5 recommendations on work to do in crisis that will always be there to be able to help you navigate through the crisis. And also I'm sharing with you the companies that are on hiring sprees right now. So I hope this video is going to be very helpful and informative to you. I will leave links for most of these companies in the description box below. It's always important to remember with people, their needs and then their wants. And in these type of situations, when you're looking to try to basically generate income, you have to insert yourself right in between those needs and those wants. And what that does, it creates something that we all live by and that we all use, that we all need, and that one word is called fulfillment. So in a situation of crisis, in a situation of distress, where you're looking to try to generate income, whether you're working from home, whether you're going to go out and work, what you are doing is fulfilling either a need or a want. And so everything that we're going to talk about, the jobs that we are going to share with you and the links that we're going to share with you have to do with fulfillment, because fulfillment is where you insert yourself within a space to be able to generate income by helping people fulfill either a need or a want. So most of the companies hiring right now are either in healthcare, supermarket distribution and delivery, or delivery, meaning companies that are catering to people who are staying at home and they're delivering their goods to them at home. GE Healthcare is currently hiring and looking for people who will help them assemble ventilators. As we know, ventilators is a big need all around the country and around the world to help with this epidemic. So they're looking for people to hire them on the assembly lines, helping put together the ventilators together to be able to increase their production. Other companies hiring are Instacart. Instacart is looking to hire over 300,000 people to be able to help make deliveries, home deliveries to people who are in need all around the country. Also, Walmart is currently hiring. Walmart is looking for over 150,000 people to hire to be able to help fulfill deliveries and customer service within the stores. Another company hiring is CVS, which CVS is looking to hire over 50,000 people to be able to either be in-store cashiers or deliver pharmaceutical products to people's homes that can't make it into the store. Other companies that are hiring are supermarket chains. Depending on where you are, some are larger than others, but most supermarket chains currently are looking to hire over 30,000 people to be able to help, either restock shelves, make deliveries if they have a delivery service attached to their supermarket, et cetera, et cetera. Another company that's looking to hire is Dollar General. Dollar General is looking to hire over 50,000 people. And as we know, most of the dollar stores and the dollar store chains have been pretty much inundated because people are going there for not only getting things that they can't find in the supermarket and other places, but also the cost effectiveness. The pricing is more favorable, especially in these hard economic times for a lot of people. Another company hiring is Pepsi. Pepsi's looking to hire over 6,000 people to be able to help do deliveries of their products, whether it's sodas or some of their other products that they make that are food products. They need delivery drivers to be able to fulfill their orders that are pending all over whether it's on their supermarket or the big department store chains they're looking to hire currently. Another company hiring, which they're doing major hiring, is Papa John's, which is the pizza chain, and they're looking to hire over 20,000 people to be able to help with deliveries, help fulfill all the demand that they're getting because many people are staying home and they're not going out, so they're ordering food, home. And pizza is something that's filling and it can last them over a few days. So chains like Papa John's, Domino's, and Pizza Hut are very busy. They're all between those three are hiring around over 70,000 people. As we see, currently people are dealing with essentials, meaning groceries. They're looking for fulfillment of things that are needs, not so much wants. They're looking at things that would help them be able to avoid going out, exposing themselves. And so if you can insert yourself within that position or place where you are taking one of these positions that we're recommending to you, and then working in that capacity, you're able to start to make money immediately. Now, my top 5 recommended jobs that are hiring currently that I recommend that you start with is number 1, property preservation. So property preservation has to do with real estate, and I don't know if you've seen those properties that have the paper and the sticker on the door, and they are properties that are even been taken over by the bank, because there's a life cycle of real estate. There's a life cycle of distressed properties. So as we see currently, there's a major crisis going on, and we anticipate that there's going to be a foreclosure tsunami because many people will not be able to retain their homes. So what happens basically in these type of circumstances is that the properties then go through the process of foreclosure, from the pre-foreclosure status, where there's a lis pendens filed by the mortgage company, and then the mortgage company then starts to proceed to try to take the property. It takes time depending on what state you're in, but they're going to go through that foreclosure process. The person is going to fight. The person is going to either win by retaining the property, either via repaying the debt, reinstating the mortgage, or filing a bankruptcy somehow. Now, if they cannot hold on to the property will then be either sold at the auction or taken back by the bank for either $100 or $1. When that happens, the bank then takes the property into receivership, and what they do is then it enters into something called a gestation period. That gestation period basically can be anywhere from 18 months to even more, depending on the bank. But what happens is that the bank then needs to take that property and preserve it during that period of time. During that period of time, many things happen. They are preserving the property while in the background, legally, they're making sure that they rework title paperwork, that they're going through the process to make sure that they have proper standing to be able to take that property and make sure that they can resell it. So there are other things that go on than what we see on the surface by driving by the property. The bank is making sure that the title work is in place, that the chain of titles intact, so that when they go to resell the property, there's no barriers. They've cleared all municipal debt, all liens and encumbrances against the property. All those things are done in the background. So when they go to sell now, as the bank and the owner of the property, that there's nothing holding them back. That takes time, because they're going through legal proceedings, they're going through a process, they're making sure that they're doing their checks and balances. That's what we call a gestation period. During that gestation period, depending on where they are in the country, the property needs to basically be taken care of. And so if you're in the Northeast, depending on what month it is, the property needs to be winterized, meaning that there has to be contractors that go in there. And sometimes, I don't know if you've ever come across an REO, what we call a bank home property, or seen a property, maybe on a TV show, where when you walk in, you'll see a blue piece of tape or orange piece of tape over the sink and over the bathroom toilet. Well, those are properties that have been winterized. And what they've done is that they've bled the pipes, or they've winterized the property to protect it from having pipes frozen that will bust and cause further damage to the properties. In addition to that, they secure the property. They change the locks. They make sure that everything regarding the property is secure, and things are in proper order, so that there's not further damage and further expenses for the bank. Well, that's called property preservation. And then there are people who actually work within that capacity. There are companies that are hiring right now, and that is going to be a spike you're going to see, especially with the foreclosure tsunami and all the changes that we have coming in the coming months, where we're going to see a lot of people default on their mortgages, and a lot of banks have to take back properties and then try to see how they can then resell them. But during that time where they're holding on to them, Those are the gestation period of times, and that's the life cycle of distressed properties. And then they sell it to a new, homeowner who's either going to buy it to stay in it, or they're going to buy it for an investment. And so during that period of time, they reach out to property preservation companies, and these property preservation companies pay people a hefty amount for helping them to preserve it, because what happens generally is that these properties then become either a further liability to the bank, and meaning that, because they're there and they're not protected, people break in, they can vandalize the property, squatters can be in the property, the grass is left unkept, it's an eyesore to the neighborhood, so the city starts to find them. There are so many problems that these properties can bring for the banks who are taking these properties back. So being a property, working in property preservation is key, because you always will have work, you will always have properties that you need to tour and make sure that they're being preserved. And then also, the main thing that these banks need is synchronization with vendors. Sometimes, just like property management, they have to have a plumber there. They need to also have a locksmith there. They need to have different people there to be able to make sure that the property is in a condition that it can be sold. And so they need a preservation company, the preservation agent, to be able to help facilitate that. The biggest threat to any bank, and the biggest threat pretty much, I would say, in real estate period, is two words. And those two words are aged assets. Any bank that deals with REOs, bank-owned properties, or any, even myself as a real estate agent here in New Jersey, an aged asset can be an issue, because what happens basically is that the further and the longer that property sits on the market, it ages. And so it doesn't bode well for pricing. It doesn't bode well for you getting premium price for the property, and then also it creates more problems. So in a situation for a bank, for example, if they have an aged asset on their books, that property has been sitting there. The longer the property sits there, it's a bigger liability for them, because they have to make sure that the municipalities are paid taxes. They have to make sure that the grass is cut to avoid fines from the city. They have to make sure that that property is being preserved and maintained. And every month that goes by, there's money that has to be paid out either to an attorney or a preservation company. So as far as a job, and as far as basically being in a position of something that will be sustained, long term, I highly recommend that you look into being a property preservationist and working with a property preservation company. There are a few links and a few companies that are hiring currently, one of which is safeguardvendors.com. I'm going to leave their link below for you to check them out. Another company is propertyvendors.com, and also nadap.org. There are a few, and even some of these jobs have been posted on Glassdoor by some of the mortgage companies that are looking for property preservation. As you'll see, the pay that they're giving some of these people is anywhere from $25,000 to $60,000. And these are things that you can do. There's a process and a part of it where after you apply, part of the work is at home and then part of the work is on the road. But, it's half and half. Someone who's been involved in this for a long time, I can tell you that it's something that is somewhat recession proof. It's always there, and you're always going to have a need for this type of work. The second recommendation that I have out of my top 5 will be a virtual customer service representative. Now, as some of us have seen, those of us who try to work out and negotiate our mortgage payments, you'll see that even some of the mortgage companies have a backup now in the backlog. So when you call them, they're telling you to leave your information, and what they'll do is they'll have the callback service call you back. And that's because most of these companies, whether you're in healthcare or in finance, they're overwhelmed currently. People are overwhelming them because with the problems on the healthcare front, where they have a lack of staffing and they have a lack of really a response, a fulfillment capability, they're overwhelmed. So they need help in calling people back, even if it's just to touch base. There are companies that need people to be able to deal with customer service, fulfillment, and response. And most of those positions are you can do it right from your home. Just answer the phone. Even virtual companies, remote companies, they're all demanding virtual service, virtual customer service currently, because they need to be able to keep in touch with their potential clients, let them know what's going on, answer questions for them, and sometimes just be a bridge where you can actually be a bridge to be able to get so that someone that can get back to them, because most of these departments are overwhelmed. And the third recommended job that I recommend out of my top 5 would be to be a BPO inspector. And BPO stands for Broker's Price Opinion. So this has to do with if you're licensed and you're interested and you're licensed in real estate and you're interested in going into this venture, it's something that I can help you and share with you. I'm going to leave a link below of how you can work with me in real estate. But I can share with you that being a BPO specialist will something that you will always make money with, because banks, again, need people to be able to give them price opinions on properties. They have to queue the property and prepare it to be able to go to the market. Now, if they're going to sell it on the market, what are they going to sell it for? They know internally that they need to get a certain amount in order to be able to cover themselves and whatever money they've laid out. Most of these companies now are, basically spending a little bit of money, by, putting carpet in the property, putting two-tone paint. And so they're spending at least between $3,000 to $5,000 per property to at least make the property decent. So when you walk in, they have at least commercial grade rugs, and they also have a fresh coat of paint on the walls. Well, what they want in return is to be able to get the best value for the property. And what they need is they reach out to real estate agents that are local, who will basically give them what is called a price opinion. So it's called a broker's price opinion. And they send you out to the property. You take interior photos. They have a criteria sheet that you follow. And basically what you do is you take interior photos, exterior photos, and you come up with comparables for the property. Meaning comparables could be 3 active properties that are similar to it, 3 sold properties that are similar to it, and then with whatever other criteria they want, and you present that to them as your price opinion. And most times the banks will pay you anywhere between $100 to $150, depending on the bank, per house. So if you were doing 4 houses a day, then you're looking at making over maybe $500 to $600 a day. And this is very realistic. This is stuff that we do here all the time. And so a BPO agent is one that you can sign up for to be able to start that process. Now, of course, you will be licensed. You'll need to be licensed. So I can help you with that process and how to get licensed at a discount by clicking the link below. We can discuss that, and we can talk about how we can work together in real estate. But being a BPO agent is one that I recommend. It's something that you'll always be able to make money with, especially in a situation of crisis, and especially when you're looking to work very easily from home and start that process where you can start to work remotely. Being a BPO agent is a good option. So the fourth way that I recommend to be able to start to make money now and get jobs now is to sign up to be a temp. There are many temp agencies, and being a temp is a very good option to bridge yourself currently. If you're currently unemployed and you're looking for work and you need work right away, I highly recommend that you do work as a temp. Now, there are a few recommended sites that I've actually compiled to help you to be able to see how you can look into working remotely. And some of these sites include flexjobs.com, freeup.com, outsourcely.com, textbroker.com, and remotejobsclub.com. These are all sites that actually specifically cater to customer service and remote work. So you can actually go on these sites and actually apply for the job postings that are on there. Most of them have to do with remote work. So if you're looking to do work temporarily and hopefully transition to a permanent position, this is where you want to be. And I'm going to leave the link to all these websites below in the description below. And my fifth, and probably one of my also most important recommended ways to be able to make money and get jobs now will be to become an asset manager. So many times you have a lot of problems created when these type of crises arise. There are many open opportunities that arise. There are many people where after the sift of all of this and the dust settles, there is a lot of displacement, and then there's a lot of turning points where people now have to reconvene not only life as they had it, but sometimes it's complete change. And so there are assets that get abandoned. There are assets that need help, just like what we talked about with property preservation. And being an asset manager and applying to be an asset manager is a great place because companies now have to now manage what they're left with and what they're taking on. Most times when there are crises and there's a shakeup, there are always shifts. There's always someone loses and another person gains. And so these are what we call asset transfers. And being an asset manager helps to be able to help the company that's receiving the assets to manage it. There's a big opening for that where I can tell you from the last crisis, there were a lot of asset transfers done. And some companies were wiped out. Others received double, tripled up what their asset base was. And they're looking for asset managers to help facilitate. So it doesn't mean that you have to have a lot of experience in it, but it's something that you want to actually expose yourself to and apply for the work because they need help. So being an asset manager is one that I highly recommend out of my top 5. And I also will leave a link below. If you're in New Jersey and you're looking for work right away, there's a website that was created that has over 80,000 job postings to be able to help you get work right away. These are companies that are hiring and hiring sprees right now in the immediate that need help. And I will leave that link below so that you can actually check all of these out. And I look forward to sharing more valuable information with you all. If there's anything that I can do, please reach out to me via email, AskRindeNetwork@gmail.com. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. And until next time, thank you for watching.